Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Woo. Breezing on through. Amen. Good morning. Good morning. This is the day. This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice because I'm in it. Amen. Amen. Every day that you're here is a day to give thanks. Every day that you're here is a day to give blessings and joy, and it's just a great day. All right. Amen. Amen. Give it a few as we always do. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. And I must say, while I wait, it is nice to be able to put faces to the names. I know I always have people come up to me and introduce themselves, and I appreciate you guys for how much this is blessing you and letting me know, because it's not every day that people will just walk up and tell you that what you're doing is a blessing to them. So thank you for everybody who has poured into me and thanked me and pulled me off to the side or just walked up to me about how these devotionals are blessing you. Amen. Amen. All right. Well, this is Calvary Hawthorne's devotional channel where you are loved. And I'm your host, Brother Jay. And so again, this week, we're talking about relationship as we end the month, and we're walking into purpose as we start the new month. And a little recap from yesterday, we talked about love and mother's love, and how sometimes you have to humble yourself and take care of somebody else in that time of need, and times that's what your purpose is. Mother's love in that situation. Her purpose was for her kid. Her purpose was to make sure her son stayed alive. Her purpose was to make sure that the son lived. She was a mother. That was her purpose. Her purpose was motherhood. And even if she could not be the one to raise the child, her job as a mother was to make sure that child had a nice life, or had a life ahead of himself. Amen. And too often we get wrapped up in the little things and the other things that take our focus off. And so a lot of times when we're doing what we need to be doing, it keeps the focus on, right? We talked about positive positioning and making sure that I'm putting myself in a positive position to be able to take the next step. And I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to be that's going to be holding me back, or that's going to be causing me to move at a pace that I shouldn't be moving at. God has called you now. You can't let little things hold you up, like pride and envy, and you just can't let things like that hold you up. And so God's calling you right now to be a better friend, to be a better coworker, to be a better brother, to be a better sister, to be a better husband or wife. God is calling you. And so we do have purpose comes through relationships, right? And so we have to make sure we're building these relationships, because these relationships is what's going to allow us to tread along and get to our purpose. Amen. Amen. Well, yesterday was a mother's love. Today is a father's mercy. Amen. Today is a father's mercy. And so, I mean, again, these are well-known verses. And today we're talking about the prodigal son. So if you are familiar with the passage, we are in Luke. Give me a second. We are in Luke 15, 11 through 32. And this one I will not read all of, and I'll just kind of talk about it. Luke 15, 11 through 32. And pretty much what this one is talking about is, he had a wealthy son in a wealthy family, and he pretty much wanted his inheritance and wanted to get out, wanted to go explore, wanted to go see what life was really like, And so father granted his wish, gave him his money, and said, all right, go. You don't have to, but go ahead and go. And so in doing that, he leaves and he finds out what real life is like. And how many times have you been doing something, you want to do something, and then you found out, you know what, I don't want to do this no more. This look cool on TV. This look cool watching somebody else do it. But now that I'm doing it, this don't look good. I don't want to do this no more. And so, he got here with real life. And I relate to this story because I came out here on my own, right? How old was I? Like 22? I came out 22, about $200 maybe in my pocket, and had to survive. And granted, I put myself in that position, which it is what it is. But this guy, he didn't have to. He just wanted to. And I think for me, I wanted to as well. I wanted to get out the house. I wanted to go explore. I've been traveling already, playing through basketball, and got a chance to see all the different cities that there was out there. And I knew there was more out there than little old Ohio. And so when I realized that, and then I took a visit out to California, got stuck. Visited, came out here on a visit, a 1-week visit. Visiting one of my homies, and the whole time he's like, "Man, you should stay out here. You should, man." Just trying to get me to stay, and that wasn't the intention. But I'll tell you, once I was out here and I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is cool." I started hopping online. I don't even remember what I think it was. Just checking Craigslist because I don't even think Indeed was around back then, right? Like I just remember scrolling. And I found a job thing, and it was just like, all right, cool. I went and interviewed for it. Gave my resume. All he's seeing is Ohio. He's looking at me like, yo, why are you here? Are you moving or what's going on? So I told him the story. I said, man, look, I'm thinking about it, but I got to find a job. I'm a smart man. I got to have a job before I move because I know what real life is like. And he's like, wait a minute. So you came out here for 1 week to visit. Matter of fact, you're inside that week, 3 or 4 days inside this weekend. You came out here to visit, but all of a sudden you going to move if you get this job? For real? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And he just kind of looked at me like, I can't, like, he'd never been there, never seen it, never heard of it. And so he's like, you would do that? And so I asked him one question. I said, are you willing to hold my job for 30 days so I can go home, tell my parents, hang out with my friends one last time, and pack my car up so I can drive out here and be back in 30 days, ready for work? And he paused and he said, if you're going to be back here in 30 days, I'll hold the job for you. True story. Sure enough, walked out of there. Told the homie, I said, hey, bro, were you for real? He was like, yeah, I was for real. All right, I got a job. What? You got a job? I was like, yeah, I got a job. I'll be back in 30 days. Hopped on the plane, flew back, told my peoples, had this little like last supper type of dinner with all the homies. Put myself in the car and drove back out here. And then as I was out here, learned by myself, right? I mean, I was living with the homie for a little bit, but I still was by myself learning stuff and trying to figure it out. And obviously, you're into the nightlife and you're into California dreaming and all this stuff. And it's like you're getting lost. And it's like, whoa, don't forget what you was raised on. You forget the principles. You forget the foundations. You forget. It's natural. I forgot, right? And I think what woke me up, I'll tell you what woke me up was the fact that there was another guy who had just moved out here. We moved out here at the same time, working at the same job, but he was like probably about a month before me, maybe 2. He was in the nightlife and in the limelife and all that too. And all of a sudden I get to work one day and I was like, yo, we're such and such. I'm like, oh no, he gone where? Like, oh, he got another job? Nah. What happened? Oh, he moved back home. So what? Say, oh, he moved back home. And I'm like, no, for real? So I called him and I'll never forget. He said, hey man, I ran out of money, couldn't afford it. I can't like, yeah. He's like, I couldn't do it. I had to go back home. And I'm just sitting there like, whoo, okay. And it was a life lesson, even though it wasn't my lesson. It was a life lesson. That's why when I hear, the greatest teacher sometimes is other people's experiences. That's true. Because if you don't want to go through it, you better learn from somebody else. And so here in this story, we got a situation where this young man goes out and is trying to live, trying to survive, and trying to do what he needs to do. And all of a sudden, it's like he realizes he's in the depths right now. He's in the dirtiest place wherever he's at. He's just in the dirtiest spot. And then he remembers where he came from. He remembers. He's like, man, I can go home. I can go home, but will my father take me? I can go home, but what are people gonna say? I can go home, but you know what? I don't care what people are saying. I don't care what people are talking about. I don't care what people are doing. Like, I'm getting out of here. He's in a big pig pen. Like, I'm getting out of here. And so today's message is learning how to have mercy, because you never know what people are going through and how they were able to get to that point to be able to stand in front of you, or to be able to get to that point where they got to tell you their story and where they've been at. They got to tell you their story and what they're going through. They got to tell you, hey, I messed up. You don't know, like, if they're having a conversation with you, you have to show mercy, because you don't know what they went through just to get to the point. What this father did is he ran, he grabbed him, he hugged him, and he said, yo, grab my best, grab everything. Go kill the fattest calf. Like, we about to celebrate. It was a celebration. Father showed mercy. He could have been like today's pops and today's fathers and the old school. Well, I shouldn't necessarily say today, but the old school pops, where it's like, I told you be back. Yep. I told you wasn't ready to go. I told you wasn't going to make it. I told you not to leave. Matter of fact, you can't come back. It's not mercy. It's not mercy. That's not God. That's not love. It's not purpose. It's not. We have got to learn how to show mercy. We've got to learn how to show compassion. We've got to learn how to love one another. Because through these relationships we build, through these bonds, it just has no choice but to put you on a track closer to God. Amen. Has no choice. No choice. And so here he has this party, and then, the son was feeling a little jealous, and he covered that up. But it was just like, man, what a feeling. Can you imagine the feeling if you were going back and all these thoughts, and we've done it before. How do I go back to that friendship? How do I go back to that relationship? How do I go back to that job? And all of a sudden you go back, and then the job is welcoming you as if you never left. It's hard. It's hard. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not always the greatest. Guys know I'm a coach in basketball, and I'll have kids leave, especially this new age generation, where I'll have kids quit. And then all of a sudden they want to come back. No, you can't come back. Right? Like, old me is like, nah, man, you quit. I don't deal with quitters. I don't. It really rubs me the wrong way. Like, you quit, not because it's not like necessarily you quit on me. You did, but you quit on them. So how do I know you ain't gonna quit again? And I could bring you back in with this loving arms only for you to quit on me again. And that's what we go through a lot of times. You're afraid, and you don't want to show mercy to anybody. You don't want to show compassion to anybody, because they like, it's almost as if I'm giving them the ability, and I'm handing them the opportunity just to hurt me again, to break me again, to like damage me again. And it's like God is saying, no, welcome that back with wisdom. Not everybody. And not necessarily 2 or 3 or 4 times. He wasn't a prodigal son. It didn't say this prodigal son. It didn't say he left, came back, left again, came back, left again. It didn't say all that. It said he left, and was welcomed back. So if you're trying to figure out a relationship where it's like this person keeps coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, I'm not talking about that relationship. I'm talking about one in which they left, fall out, something happened, but then they humbly came to you. And that was the other thing. He came back. The Father didn't send servants. The Father didn't say, go find him and bring him back, right? Father didn't do that. He came back freely on his own accord, which showed how honest it was and how hurtful it was, how true this is. He came back. And when I see you come back, I'll welcome you with open arms. I have no choice. I have no choice. I have to give the same mercy and the same grace and the same compassion God gives me. It gets him to purpose. Could you imagine if Jesus didn't give mercy, didn't show compassion, decided to go ahead and take things on himself and said, no, you can't do that. And here's what we about to do. He don't make it to the cross. He does not make it to the cross without mercy. So today, Father's love, yesterday was a mother's love. Today, a father's mercy. Let's learn how to have mercy. Let's learn how to show compassion. Pick up that phone. Have these relationships. Rewind, audible, curveball, or let me retract that. When they pick up the phone to call and apologize, to call and say, hey, can we talk? When they come over your house and say, hey, we need to talk. Have the conversation. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Have the conversation. God is trying to mend relationships and the enemy is just trying to crush them. There's people we have stopped talking to that is the very piece and the very doorway and the very key that is supposed to get you to where you're supposed to go. But because he killed that relationship, you're being held back because you aren't talking to the one person that you need to talk to get where you got to go. And I'm not saying God can't work out another way. I'm just saying relationships are important. Relationships help you get to purpose. Amen. Amen. Well, that's all I got. That's all I got. We trekking through these. Yesterday was a mother's love. Her way to be just humble, to way to position herself and her son to be in a better position. That was her purpose. His father's purpose was to welcome his son back. Welcome his son back. Train him up to where whatever happened, he won't depart. Tomorrow, we'll see what that brings. All right. So until then, actually, check that. I'll see y'all tonight. I'll be speaking tonight at service, Tuesday night service, 7:00. If you're not doing nothing, come on down or tune in. I'll be speaking tonight, and let's continue to talk about purpose and relationships. All right. So as always, I love you. I love you. I love you. Go out there and be a blessing to somebody. Go out there and make somebody's day. Go out there and start a conversation, have a conversation, and make sure, if nothing else, make sure when that phone rings, because that phone is going to ring with somebody, and somebody going to tell me, Brother Jay, this person called me, and I wanted to say no so bad, but I had the conversation. I didn't want to pick up, but I picked up, and they called to apologize. So the first step was me picking up. The second step was me being able to accept their apology. Hear them out. But it's up to you to decide that. Just know, if you was on the other end and you had called God and you was trying to tell God what happened, would you want God to listen? I'll leave you with that. Y'all know I just apply pressure. I just have you apply situations. That's all I do. All right. Well, I love you guys. You guys go out there, have a great day, and I'll see you tonight. And the rest, I'll see you tomorrow. All right.